Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, it's a pleasure to be here today. Thank you so much for coming. My speech tonight is to express information and to give a report. The report that I'm going to give tonight is going to be talking about the Convention of the States. The Convention of the States is working toward a better government. As our Toastmaster Connie read, the abuses that we are up against right now with the bad policies that our federal government is putting together is truly slowing us down as far as the states. We are the United States of America. I'll go into more of that in a few minutes. But it's the process of understanding that we are in control of what we're doing, or where we should be. As Connie talked about earlier, our theme for tonight is how do we make good decisions? How many times have you been in a company, situation, or day-to-day when we hire, some people say elect, representatives and senators and presidents, that they sound good in front of you when they're talking with you and I. You like what they say, but once they're in Washington, they feel as if they have this power that they never had before. That's what we're going to talk about tonight, is the four issues as Connie brought up in my introduction. The spending and debt crisis. We are at a $17 million national debt. Is that staggering or what? How many of you have children? Possibly grandchildren. Where is the money going to come from to pay that debt? The process that I see right now is we have no other choice but to start making those adjustments today, or it falls into the laps of our children and our grandchildren. How about the regulatory crisis? There's been a regulatory burden placed on businesses that is complex, conflicting, and very much crushing to the people that are behind it. How many here enjoy putting their taxes together? April the 15th is about to come up. Do you enjoy that? Do you have a business? The process that we're going through today is astounding, the number of regulations that we have put together, that again is generally put together by who? Our federal government. Colorado taxes, what do? We take that federal tax and we pay a small percentage. We have a pretty good tax system here in Colorado. But our federal government, if you look at your paycheck, or if you pay quarterly taxes, semi-annual taxes, or possibly monthly estimated taxes, don't forget, that is the money that you're paying, you and I, to the people that we hired, again, some people call it elected, the first Tuesday in November. That's paying them to make those good decisions for us. Congressional tax on state sovereignty. Well, what is that? We are supposedly the United States of America. That's our 50 states being able to be individually supportive of what we do, what we say, how we act, and how we exist and interface with the other states. How many laws now are developed by our federal government that control and or regulate our being as a state? It's a problem, and it's a growing problem. It's a federal takeover of the decision-making process. How many times have you heard, or how many times do we even use the word, the government? The government does this. The government does that. I can't believe the government's doing this. I can't believe the government did that. The majority of the time, who do we speak of? We speak of the government. It's our federal takeover of what we do. Who should the government be? You and I. We are the government. We elect and or hire these representatives, these senators, the people that represent us. We elect them, we hire them, and guess what else? We can impeach them. And through our Constitution, we have the ability to have a convention of states to change the situation and change it now. How many of you know the preamble to the Constitution? We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, and promote the general welfare, secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. It doesn't say leave debt. Do ordain and establish the Constitution of the United States. People who have problems with the Pledge of Allegiance should at least turn to our preamble. So what do we want to do? We have problems, we've defined the problems, we have the reports. Well, the Congress, there's several ways that we can work here. One path leads right now to the escalating power of irresponsible centralized government. But we have a path within Article 5 of the United States Constitution that gives that power or lets us retain that power. The Congress, whenever 2/3 of both houses shall deem it necessary, shall propose amendments to this Constitution, or on the application of the legislatures of amendments, which in either case shall be valid to all intents and purposes as part of our Constitution, when ratified by the legislature of 3/4 of the several states, or by conventions, which is what we're talking about, in 3/4 thereof, as one of the other modes of ratification may be proposed by the Congress, provided that no amendment, which may be made prior to the year 1808, shall in any manner affect the first and fourth clauses of the 9th section of the first article, and that no state, without its consent, shall be deprived of equal suffrage in the Senate. And the suffrage means that they can still come back and question. Congress can propose amendments to the Constitution at any time if 2/3 of both houses of Congress agree. I know, it sounds like a miracle, doesn't it? 2/3 of both houses agreeing on something. Has anyone seen my new license plate on my car? RIDL, the new affiliation. Republican, Independent, Democrat, Libertarian. Let's all get together, quit the bickering, let's create solutions. A convention of states can propose amendments if 2/3 of states submit applications for such a convention. These applications must all deal with the same issue, i.e., limiting the power and jurisdiction of our government, our federal government. Our founders, the people who wrote the Constitution, knew the federal government might one day become drunk with the abuses of power that they have. The most important check to this power is Article 5. Article 5 gives the states the power to call a convention for the purpose of proposing amendments to our Constitution. By calling a convention of the states, we can stop the federal spending deficit by taking those powers and grabs of the federal courts and other misuses of federal power. That current situation is precisely what our founders feared, and they gave us a solution, and we have the duty to use it. Do we care about our children? Do we care about our children, our grandchildren? I think so. So the strategy is 2 goals that separate our plan from all other Article 5 organizations. We're wanting to call a convention for a particular subject rather than a particular amendment. Instead of calling a convention for a balanced federal budget, though we are entirely behind that process, we want to call a convention for the purpose of limiting the power and jurisdiction of our current federal government. We believe the grassroots is the key to calling a successful convention. The goal is to build a political operation in a minimum of 40 states, Colorado being just one of those. Getting 100 people to volunteer in at least 75% of the state's legislative districts. We believe that this is very doable, but only through the support of the American people will this project have a chance to succeed. Just some of the things we can talk about. Again, the balanced budget, redefinition of the general welfare clause. How many here know what welfare really means? When somebody receives a welfare check, is that good? Is that bad? We need to make definitions to the process. We need to make sure that we all understand what it is. The founders gave us a legitimate path to save our liberty, no matter what your political affiliation may be. The Convention of States itself will determine which ideas deserve serious consideration, and it will take a majority of votes from the states to formally propose any amendments. Again, the founders gave us a legitimate path to save our liberty by using our state governments, within ourselves. Us, the registered voter. Would you like to have a better life? Would you like to have a better control? Would you like to have better control of the laws that you are put up against each and every day? Whether you're an individual, or a business, or a child, or a grandchild. Would you like to see it better for your future? I'd like for you all to think about that for a second. And if you would, we've got about 2 to 3 minutes here to answer any questions if you have any. Can I ask any questions from the audience? Yes?
Have you published your thoughts?
Absolutely. I actually have documents that I can email you or send you that relate directly to the things that I'm going through today. I'm glad you brought that up. We have a website, and it's called www.conventionofstates.com. We would like everyone to go out to that. You have the opportunity to sign on, to show your support for your children, for your grandchildren, for yourselves, and what we're going to do over the next decade. We have a presidential election coming up in 2 years. Who are you going to vote for? Will you vote for someone that is more federally oriented, taking control of your life? Or would you vote for someone that is more open to state-supported, people-supported regulations? The desire to help yourself, to grow within, not again turning to others, not again turning to a superpower somewhere, at least someone that thinks they may be a superpower, but again, turning to how we make those good decisions. It's great questions. Can I ask for any more? Has anyone here thought about that? How your government makes decisions. How when you have a law or a statute put together, that it goes in front of a judicial system where you have attorneys get together and put the words for that law together that's going to handle something that was built for possibly, let's just say, Arkansas. Then guess what? If it's a federal law, what does Colorado have to say? Does everyone in Arkansas feel the same way that Colorado does? How about Maine? How about Florida? When the law is written in the federal government, is it brought down to the state level? I don't think so. What do you think you should do? What would you like me to help you do? Again, www.conventionofstates.com. Any last questions? All right, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. If you have any questions, we'll talk to you later. Thank you.